Yeah, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Mr. Rusty Hydra. This is Rust Console Edition, and we're currently playing on my server 9 to 5 Workers United. Um, few people have still been asking me some questions about electricity, so I figured I would come on here and do one more tutorial just for everybody here on my server and potentially whoever else wants to watch. So, um, I'm going to try and make this as simple and as easy to follow as I can. All of the colors actually mean something, and they're going to be repeated along the way. And yeah, we're going to start with vanilla stuff, and then we're also going to do a couple other things that you can do with the new test generators. And then I'm going to show you a farm setup as well at the end. But um, this is called the evolution of electricity because each different thing is going to evolve and get bigger and better as we go. To start off, let me actually grab a wire tool here real quick. Um, so anytime you see a green wire, that's going to be going into charging the battery. Anytime you see a blue wire, that's going to be the power coming from a battery. And anytime you see a yellow wire, that's going to be for lights or for utility, but mostly lights. Now, this is the most simple and basic setup that you want. You can do this as early into the wipe as you want because all of these components can be found. And it's enough to run 5 lights, which is enough to pretty much light up almost all bases. You just put these at the center of your base every second floor, and you can, you know, light up your whole base. So we're going to go from the solar panel into the small battery, from the small battery into the switch, and then from the switch into our lights, and then we're going to daisy chain our lights um, from one to the next. So our lights will have one port that's a power in and one port that's a pass through. We're going to use the pass through port to go to the power in of our next light, and we're going to continue that on. This is the most very basic power setup that you can have, and set this up in all of your bases, and now you have lights as soon as you hit the switch. Now, for something a little bit more advanced, if you want to have lights that come on and turn off automatically, we're going to need to um, upgrade and add a few more pieces to our system. Again, this can be built at early game because these can be BP'd very quickly, and you can usually find solar panels and batteries pretty easily. So now we have a black power line. So our back power line is always going to be our direct power line coming from our power sources. So this is going to be coming from our solar panels or from our wind turbines, um, and we're going to that's going to become more relevant later, but that's what the black lines are for. So we have our power coming in. We're then sending 18 power out to our battery, and then from our battery into this blocker, and then from the blocker into our lights, and then we can daisy chain our 5 lights together again. And then from the other side of this, we have 1 power coming out, and that's blocking the blocker. So how does this work? Well, our direct power is coming in, and it's then being split off. So 18 power is being sent to the battery. So even if this goes below 18, so this is getting low power, it'll still continue to send that power out to the battery. And then we're sending 1 leftover power to block the blocker, because this can only receive power during the day, and we don't want our lights on during the day. We only want our lights on at night. So once this stops receiving power, it will unblock the blocker, allowing the power to go through, and then your battery will power all of your lights at night. And then in the morning, once this starts capturing full power, it's then going to block the blocker again, turning off your lights in the morning. So that's how this system works. Again, you can have 5 lights. So power in, it's being split 2 different ways. We're giving it to the battery, and then we're using 1 extra power. And then this electrical branch takes the power, which is why we are setting this to 18. So that's how you do your lights. Now, if you're hooking up a medium battery, this is how you hook up a medium battery. You need 4 solar panels. By the way, all your solar panels should always face directly south, because the sun rises in the southeast and it sets in the southwest. So if your solar panels are facing south, they're going to gain the most amount of power throughout the day. That's just how the sun works here on console, and it never changes or moves. At least that's currently how it works. So you're going to take 3 root combiners, and you're going to combine them together. 2 solar panels on here, 2 solar panels on here, and then these into a root combiner. So this is our direct power that we're gathering. We're then going to send it out to the battery, which is our green line, and then from the battery into our electrical branch. And I'll show you what you can do after this in just a little bit. But this is how you set up a medium battery in order to never run out of power. If you want to do a large, it's the same thing, but you're going to need 8 panels. And instead of having 1 triangle of root combiners, you're going to need 2, and then you're going to need to combine them and make another triangle. So you're going to combine them all together into the battery, from the battery into your electrical branch. This is the most basic way, but most complete way of setting up batteries to solar only. Now the reason you don't want to do this is because 1, you're only getting solar panel power during the day, and 2, if your battery gets destroyed, your whole system goes down. So your battery has to be well protected, and considering how big they are and how hard they are to hide, it's not a very good setup. So you really only want to use these on setups that you don't really care much about, and you want to keep cheap. So instead, what I would recommend is that you do something like this. This is called the OR blocker core. This is going to run a large battery, and you're going to want 1 wind turbine and 1 solar panel connect to this, and the solar panel facing south. That's going to give you enough power to do a couple of things. So as you can see, we have our black power, direct power coming in. Only this time we're going to be using that direct power to power all of the things that we want, in this case turrets. So that power is just coming in and then being sent right to the turrets. Now in order to run all of the turrets, we need to configure this electrical branch to have enough power to run all of the turrets. And the best way to do that is to figure out whatever your battery is, and then look at the max output. We have 100 output. So from the battery, it's going to a blocker, and then from the blocker, it's going to the OR switch. So we're only going to get 99 power out of this blocker, because the blocker takes the power to run. So if we can only get 99 power to here, that means we should match this side to also be 99, and that's what we're going to configure this to. So whatever power we're producing above and beyond 99 will then be sent out into this electrical branch. And from this electrical branch, we now have an orange wire, and orange wires are always blocker wires. So if we're producing enough power to run everything, then we don't need the battery running. And if we don't need the battery running, we need to block this blocker. So we're going to send 2 power out into the blocker to block it, and then the remaining power will then be sent out into the battery to charge the battery, even though this is going to be sitting here full. So this is what you guys want to strive for when you're setting up your batteries. It's so much easier. Um, it's just it just works better. Now, the reason this is so much better than that is because if your battery does get destroyed right now, nothing's going to happen. It doesn't really matter because this is what's driving everything. So it's only once this is destroyed will your power system actually fail. Now, you could also build the big brother of this, which is called the Nicore, which takes. So if we go into a low power mode right now, let's just say we're only producing 70 power, then that 70 power will still continue to be pumped out here instead of into the battery, while the battery is sitting there running. So we're going to waste that 78 power because this power, being 99, which is higher, is going to be the one that gets passed through. So the Nicore allows you to then send that power into the battery to charge it and discharge it at the same time, which is partly built into this one. So this is perfect for your farm setups. This is perfect for turret pod setups, or just quick and easy, just a quick and dirty setup. It's highly preferred over just running it into the battery. But like this, the Nicore and this one, they both suffer from the fact that if this gets blown up, then your whole power system's gone, right? So, but it is better than the other ones because if this can get blown up, and this will continue to run. But that's where we come here. This is called the Megawatt. This is pretty much the OR blocker core and the Nicore um, mixed into one while also being more spread out. And this is going to run 3 batteries. So, why do you want this one? Because in my opinion, this is like the best vanilla setup that you can get. And why do you want this one? So, in order to power this one, you're going to want 4 wind turbines, and you're going to want 4 solar panels, all facing south. And that's going to bring you more than enough power to adequately supply this system, probably more than you actually need. You probably could just get away with having 4 wind turbines and knock this side out completely, but in my opinion, I always like to overpower my systems because everything's running off of direct power, so I'd rather have more than less. So it's all being combined, and then it's being sent out the left side. Because we have 3 batteries, we're going to have 300 power, and we need 5 extra power to run our Nicore system. So we're going to set this to 305. That power is then being sent out into the Nicore. It's then going from the Nicore into this electrical branch, and this is purely here so we can run our lights. And then it is being sent to this switch, which is governing and running all of our turret systems. From the switch, it's going into each electrical branch, and from each electrical branch, it's running into an OR switch. Now, these OR switches are going to be spread out throughout your base, and I'll show you how to set up your turrets here in a second. But these are all going to be spread out to make them hard. So if this system goes down, these 2 will continue to run. If this one goes down, these 2 will continue to run, right? So you have to take out all 3 of these. So if they're spread out, all of your turrets will continue to run. Or most of them, I should say. So that's how that works. And then the remaining power that you're producing, and you're always going to be overproducing, is then going to be sent into your battery charger, which is this OR switch and splitter. So it's going in here, it's then going into the splitter, and then it's charging your batteries. So fairly straightforward. And the other way to charge your batteries is by being in a low power state. So this is charging your batteries in a high power state, and then when we're producing less than 305 power, then this will go into the low power state. So now we're able to both charge and discharge our batteries at the same time. So instead of only having the 4 hours of battery backup power that we would have for this setup, we can actually extend that out to 6 or 7 hours of battery backup power using this. So if some of our wind turbines go down, we'll still be able to produce power to extend the life of this. And that's what the Nicor system is set up for. So this is going to be our 300. So it's going to be 300, and then when it comes from here, it's going to be our 299 that we're going to be getting from our batteries. Because again, we're going to take our batteries, combine the power into the blocker, which is being blocked when we're producing more power, like the OR blocker core. And then it's running into another switch, which is running to our turrets. So in order to turn off all of our turrets, we need to turn off both of these switches, and then to turn them on, we need to do that. So the battery backup system is completely independent of this, and the charging, discharging, is completely independent of both of these as well. Now this is strictly for our lights. Again, this is running off of the same system as before. We're just bypassing the small battery. So we're using our solar panel to block the blocker, and because we always want our light systems to be on, even if we're not using turrets, that's why it's on an electrical branch first. So you can see how each one of those things here has added all together looks something like this. So these are spread out up on your roof, and if this gets destroyed, then your battery backup system takes over and you'll get 4 hours of battery backup power. So you want to make sure that this is well hidden and this is well hidden and these are spread out. Next is the Nicor. If your Nicor system gets destroyed, then what you could do is come up here and configure this to 2, sending all of the power to the batteries, meaning your batteries can run indefinitely, but you'll always be running off battery power. So this can get destroyed as long as you still have access to this, and you'll still continue to have infinite power on this, because you'll be able to charge more than you're discharging. So this should go down in your core near your TC. This can be up on the top of your base, which I find gets rated the least. And you're going to just build the system like this together. And this, if this gets destroyed, nothing happens because these two systems are taking over. So 2 out of 3 of these systems have to be destroyed in order for the whole system to go down. If not, 2 out of 3 of these have to go down in order for the whole system. And one of them has to be the battery backup system. And then either one of these. So this gives you this is the most robust and best way to set things up. So I'm going to go over your configuration values real quick. This one's going to be 305 because we have our 300 from our batteries, plus we need 5 to run this. This one's going to be 300. This one here is going to be 10 because we're still running our 5 lights. And the last light on the chain only needs 1 power, which is why we don't have to account for this blocker. So we can still run the same 5 lights powering our medium-sized base. These are spread out, and if you run the turret setup that I'm going to show you here in a second, it actually requires, I believe, 95 power. So you're going to set these to 95 each, and then you'll be good to go. And then whenever these are set to, these have to match. So this is going to be 95, and this one's going to be 95. And again, to turn your turrets on, both of these turn on. And then to turn them off, both of these have to be turned off. Because if you just turn it off here and you accidentally go into a low power mode, then this will turn on and it'll turn all of your turrets on. So this is... Now if you need more power than this, you set up another one of these. right? And you can set up to like 4 of these in your base, and that's going to run off of 12 turbines, or no, yeah, somewhere around there. As long as you're getting more than on average 305 power, then you should be okay. So you can have 4 wind turbines, so 4, 8, 12, 16 in order to run, but that's over 100 turrets as well if you do it that way. Now, I'll quickly show you. This is how you set up the turrets. So that OR switch was that OR switch up on the top there. Then it goes into splitters, and then from there to the turret. And then even if you only have one, you still set the 95, and you still set them up this way, so you never have to configure or change anything else later on. If you want to hook up another turret, you just put it down, run the line, hook it up, and it automatically runs and starts. So, and then if you also want, so say this is my base, and I wanted to run turrets all the way down there. Well, I would take these pieces, or at least these 2 pieces right here, and I would run all the way down here, from here, sorry, all the way down here, and I would put those 2 pieces here. And then I would take the 3 pieces underneath it, and then I would go out and I would spread them out so I can get my turret pods that are out there. So you're running them, you're giving yourself a chance to extend the lines out a lot farther. So either build this for stuff that's not as important to you, or build this if it's actually important. And again, you can make these way smaller and condense them. So you put this in its own little square room, because all of this will fit in one square room. So dedicate, 3 or 4 square rooms to your batteries here. You can even have them in your externals. And then all of this, you can fit 3 or 4 of these in your TC room as well. And these are all spread out on your roof, so it doesn't really matter. Alright, now if you really want to have the best setup, or this is the second best setup in the game in my opinion. Again, it follows on the 3 battery system, but this little setup right here, that OR switch, goes off by itself. Again, how you would set up the other ones. And then you would set up a battery, a blocker, and a 3-way splitter, and you would hook it up just like that. So you would go from here, into the battery, from the battery into the blocker, from the blocker to the OR switch. And then you would do the same here. So if this is in its own little triangle, you put that up and that up. And then that way each battery has its own little independent system. So if this one goes down, these 2 will continue to run, and vice versa. And then all it takes is these. And you just set these to 96. And you would add a switch after this in order to have a switch for each line of turrets. So you would add a switch right there at the top. But if you really want the best system, this is it. So this system right here goes into one square room, and then this gets hidden somewhere else, and that number plate right there goes into whatever main room that you're in the most, so you know that that turret line is still running, because these are running turrets. So you have all of your power being combined into here. We're then sending out 290 power, because that's how much power we need to run 3 lines of turrets and a switch, while having 1 remaining power left over to send the pass-through. And then we also need to send 9 power into here. So we're giving 1, 2, 3 power into the splitters. We're sending 1, 2, 3 power out to the blockers. So we're blocking the power from the battery from coming out, So as you can see, all of these have an active usage of 0. And then we're sending 1 power to each battery. 1, 2, 3. Just so these batteries are always registering as that they're gaining power. But you do want to charge these batteries before you do anything else. Because it'll take forever for these to fill on giving it 1 power. So in order to do that, you simply change this to 0. And then you disconnect the block pass-through and make sure your turrets are off. Again, each one of these will need their own extra switches if you want to have more control over the system. However, it should be, you'll never run low power with this. So as you can see, our time is going up a lot because we're giving all of the power into our batteries. Yeah, so you let them charge, and then when they're done charging, come back here and hook them up. You come back over here, 290. You're up and running. And then normally, you can turn this off and not worry about this battery backup ever kicking in. So you do only ever need 1 switch for your turrets, unless you're charging your battery. So that's why you charge your batteries first. But in my opinion, this is by far the best setup. Again, this goes in one room, this goes in another room, complete opposite ends of your base. These get spread out, and you just hook up your turret system like that. And then if you want to farm, this is what I think to be the best way to set up a farm. It uses exactly 50 power, so you can hook up either 2 of these systems to a large battery, or you can hook it up, this one system, to a medium battery. So what we're doing is we're getting our power in to this electrical branch. We're configuring this to be 50 because we're having our 4 solar panels up on the roof, because again we need 4 for a medium battery. So we're going to send our 50 power in, and then the remaining power gets sent out to the medium battery, because we have our OR blocker system set up right here. Remember I said it's for your least important stuff? Well, that's what this is. It's an the OR blocker system. So from the blocker system, again, we have an electrical branch and then a switch. But instead of turrets set up here, because this is the exact same as this, and the exact same as this, because again we have our lights, and then instead of our turrets we have our switch, or I mean our pumps. So OR blocker system, an electrical tree made of electrical branches with a switch in between. Now this for our lights is going to be, well, it shouldn't be 20, but you have 4 lights that you can run, which is enough for a 6 planter square. So a 2 by 3 6 planter square, light here, light here. So this is enough to run 12 planter plots. So that should be 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh, plus our heaters though. I added those in. So you really only need the heaters at night in the desert, or if you're living in the cold biome. But again, I want this to be so you can build this literally anywhere. This is an all-in-one setup. So you do need your 20, and then you have your extra heaters. Now the rest of the power, which is 27, is going to be sent out here to run our 3 pumps, because we're going to need 3 water pumps, our water purifier, and then our 3 other fluid switching pumps. Now, depending on how you set it up, you might not need these, but I guarantee you, if you set it up this way, it doesn't matter where in your base you set your sprinklers, how high or low you place these things on the wall, this will work. So if I turn this on, everything is running. So for this first electrical branch here, we're running our fluid switch and pumps, which requires 4 power, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what this is going to be set up. We also need to run 15 power to run our 3 water pumps. Yeah, now they're running. Sorry, this needs to be, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so we have them running our pumps, and then we have 5 power in order to run our water purifier right here, which is our red line. And then we have our 3 fluid switch and pumps that are combined into a fluid combiner, which runs into the powered water purifier. From the powered water purifier into a fluid switch and pump. From the pump into a 3-way water splitter. And then from the 3-way water splitters into 3 sprinklers. So each side can support up to 3 sprinklers. And if you put them in the center of a 2x3 square, so like right here, here, and here, then it'll cover all 6 planter boxes. So again, this setup is kind of designed for a 12 planter system. So you build an I-core, you build an electrical tree, and then this splitter goes to your fluid switch and pumps. This splitter goes to your water pumps, and then this one goes off to here. You need 50 power. You need 2 power. You need, I would do 18 power and not worry about that last heater. 5 power, and then 4 power. And then the remaining 15 power will be sent out to this. And that's a simple way of running a farm off a medium battery. And again, if you're doing a large battery, then you can just run 2 of these off of it. You make this number double, and then keep these the same, but you're just going to add on more electrical branches. So that's the simple way of doing a consistent farm, anyway. But yeah, so overall recommendations, if you're going to build anything, build this. If you can't be bothered to build something as complicated as this, just simply build this. Again, this takes 1 wind turbine, 1 solar panel, minimum 3 wind turbines, 5 solar panels, but if you do 4 wind turbines, 4 solar panels, you'll get the most benefit out of it. And if you do have access to the test generator, build this. This goes in a nice secure room near the bottom of your base. This goes in a nice secure room near the top of your base. These get spread out into something that looks like that. These 2 are the most secure parts. These 3 pieces can be spread out, but behind the turrets that are going to get blown up. So these already have to be blown up by the time they even reach that part, so it doesn't matter if they blow it up because these turrets are gone. And that's the evolution of power. Start with something simple. Something as simple as this. and then you upgrade it a little bit, then you upgrade it a little bit more, then you give it more utility, then you give it a lot of utility, and then you just short, sweet, to the point. Extendability, and then farm reliability. If you ever need a breakdown of any of these, I do have a breakdown video going more in depth on each one of these systems. But again, if you just take a screenshot of this and go over the values, it's pretty simple and straightforward. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy, and I'm going to be starting my event here soon, so you guys might want to check that out. Peace.